Hi, everyone. First of all, I'm sorry I'm a bit sick. Don't worry, it's not COVID, okay? But if I'm gonna cough, I'll try to close the mic so not everyone will enjoy my coughing. Okay, so hi, everyone. Thank you for joining my talk. And this talk will be about incident management. And basically, when I was in high school, there was a common belief that if you actively listen in class, you'll have 50% of the exam prep already in your pocket. And I want to show you how I adopted this belief to an actual approach that you can take for incident management. So you can come prepared by doing things proactively during your day-to-day and after the fact, after an incident took place, that will help you come prepared for incidents. And I'll also cover here the structured process to manage incidents and how you can manage them efficiently, and also the needed traits to be an on-call and how to perfect those traits. So first of all, hi, my name is Hila. I'm a senior DevOps engineer and I work for Wix, and I have 15 years of experience in the tech industry, which means a lot of production incidents. I've seen a lot of things, dealt with a lot of things, even when I wasn't on call, just because my team member wasn't operated under pressure, and I will cover it here as well. So I've seen a lot of types of incidents, and this is why I think I am qualified to be here and talk to you about this thing. I'm also a conferences co-organizer in Israel, where I live, DevOps Days Tel Aviv. I really believe in communities. That's why I'm a mentor in courses and communities like Women in Tech and open source communities. And in my spare time, I'm a lead singer in a cover band, as you can see in this picture. I have a gig soon. I hope that I will be good enough to sing. Okay, so the agenda for today, as I briefly mentioned before, we will cover, first of all, the mindset needed to manage incidents, then an incident flow, how you can make it structured, on-call traits, and how you can improve them, and then being proactive, things that you can do in order to come prepared for incidents. So first of all, just to set the baseline here. Didn't work? I don't know. Okay. So, incident management. It is a set of procedures and actions taken to resolve critical incidents. And basically, it's an end-to-end process that defines how incidents are detected and communicated, who is responsible to handle them, what tools are used to investigate and respond, and what steps are needed and taken for the actual resolution. And the thing is that we need to reframe our perspective, because first of all, we get a lot of pages, right? But not all pages that we have are becoming an incident. What is an incident? Anything that results in a loss of revenue, customers, data, and more. And if we don't have an incident management process, if we will stick to putting out files ad hoc approach, then we will potentially lose valuable data. Downtime could lead to reduced productivity and revenues, and the business could be held liable for breach of service level agreements, SLAs, which is not good because it will create a lot of issues. So that's why we should have the business mindset in order to really help us manage incidents more efficiently, which means I say that mostly for the engineers in the room. Don't think only about the systems, like the tech stack and the technical aspects to it, but think also about the why. Why are we doing things in a certain way, and why is the system that we are currently managing, how does the systems help the companies achieve whatever they're trying to achieve? Processes, flows, revenues, and stuff like that. So business mindset is needed to grasp the overall impact of incidents and mitigate damages accordingly. So in order to really understand the business mindset and specifically how to manage incidents in general, we need to always remind ourselves that everything fails, okay, all the time. Who said that? Me, by the way, but it's weird to quote myself, so I'm not going to do it. And also, AWS CTO, Werner Vogels, have much more credit than me, so here's a quote of him. So everything fails all the time. Production systems, monitoring systems, even the flights that I took here failed miserably. I was supposed to get there like yesterday at 10 p.m. I arrived at 3 a.m. because everything just was a mayhem. So everything fails all the time. Even us as human beings, right? We get tired, we crash, right? We need to sleep and then restart ourselves. Everything fails. So because of this notion, we need to understand that, okay, if something happens, we shouldn't be in an ad hoc mindset like, oh my God, something happened. We are prepared that something will happen, and then we should be prepared to handle it. And that's the main idea and focus of that. So a structured process, what does it mean to have a structured process? Because incidents, yeah, they are a mayhem, and each incident is different, so how can it be structured? So I'm going to show you that. And basically, a structured process can lead to incident prevention, improved mean time to resolution, MTTR, cost reduction because downtime was decreased or eliminated entirely, and to preserve our business customers and reputation. So this is basically the structure that I'm going to show you. I took this reference from on-page, but I always had this structure in mind, even without setting it with the labels. But this is the structure, and I'm going to cover here each pillar and the questions that you need to ask yourself in order to really progress to the next phase. But beforehand, I just want to say that I had, in my entire career, I met two types of people. One was the one that says, keep calm, I'm an engineer. And the one that said, I can't keep calm, I'm an engineer. So I say that you can keep calm if you ask yourselves the questions I'm going to show you, and then you will be able to manage incidents efficiently. So in the first pillar, identify and categorize. Okay. So first question, do I understand the full extent of the problem and the business impact? Because if so, then great, we can dive in and start checking stuff. But if not, we need to gather more information. Because sometimes the alert will be there, but we are not sure what is the business impact. And everything connects together to the business mindset. So don't just get alert and just try to fix it, understand what it is about, and then you will know how to handle it going forward to the next phase. And because of the business mindset, let's understand if the alert that we got can wait for business hours and handle then. If you're not sure, ask, use the information that you have, escalate if you need to. And also, if you found out that you got an alert and it's critical, but it was labeled as minor or the opposite, then fix it as well, because we want to make sure that we handle things in the necessary timely manner. So these questions are basically for you to understand, to identify the alert and the issue that you have here, to identify if it's actually an incident or just something that happened, because we said that incidents are whenever you have a loss of revenues and customers and reputation, stuff like that. And then you'll be able to progress to the next phase, which is, I forgot another important question. Was I notified about this issue from the proper or expected channels? Because if I know about this issue from PagerDuty, OpsGenie, stuff like that, that's great. But if I learned about it from a user complaint, not so good. So if all good, great, awesome. But if not, put a note to fix it by creating a task for yourself or for your team to make sure that we know about this issue next time it happens from the proper channels. Because again, business mindset, we want to have good reputation, that we know what's happening with our systems before our users know it. Next pillar, notify and escalate. So the question is, who should be notified about this incident? So and notify, it means who should know, okay, like in general. So during the incidents, it should be decided by incident importance, aka support or customers engineers. If the incident is very, very critical, they need to alert and notify the customers that, hey, we have something going on, please be patient, blah, blah, blah. And in general, maybe there are other teams, internal teams, that rely on on these systems that fail, because they have some sort of flow that needs this system, and if they don't know that something happened, they will be in the midst of a craziness of their own. So if we can help and alert and notify not only customer success teams if something is critical, but also other teams that rely on our systems, then it's good for everyone. And does this incident needs escalation? So notify is only just FYI know about it. So this is the FYI for support or customer-facing teams. But for resolution, maybe I need to escalate for other teams. Let's say I'm a DevOps engineer. I need to escalate to a developer because I saw that the issue that I found is not infrastructure related. It's code related. So I need to escalate to the dev. So I need to do that for escalation purposes. So we need to identify it at the beginning, because we don't want to waste time of downtime, right? Because if we know really like late in the game that it needs escalation, In the meanwhile, the system is down, and we are losing a lot of valuable time that the company can't retrieve back. Next phase, investigate and diagnose. So what information is relevant towards the incident resolution? Because focusing on the non-relevant information will throw you off route and make you lose valuable time during debugging. So we really need to focus on what's going on, and I have an example for that when I was in an incident with a war room. It's actually an example that I get to later on, but I will just mention it briefly. There was a room, and then people just talked and talked and talked, and nothing got towards resolution because everyone pulled to their direction, and they didn't really focus on what's relevant for the incident. They just blabbered a lot of things. So focus on what's needed right now in order to progress towards resolution. And also, a lot of the time, systems flows comprise of moving parts. So if you need to escalate, for example, tell the people that you're escalating to where is the problem exactly, because I had people escalating to me and say, I checked this and this and this, and I'm like, okay, great that you're doing checks, that's good, where is the issue? And then he said, between the database, the app and the database. I said, okay, thank you, why did you waste 10 minutes of the discussion about that? Tell me exactly what I need to know in order to help you fix the issue. Okay, so I checked some stuff, information, great. Now, after some debugging, I need to understand, did I find the root cause, and do I understand the root cause? Because if so, great. If not, we need to investigate some more and escalate if needed, because if you don't know what to do, you need to escalate to maybe another team member that knows the system more, because we want to make sure things get progress towards resolution as fast as possible. And also, we need to prioritize root causes over surface level symptoms, because if, let's say, in the middle of the night you have a server that the service got crashed and it's in stop state, 4 a.m. you start it, okay, and then you hope for the best. But if it happens again, don't just start it again. Investigate, understand the underlying cause of why the service crashed in the first place. So we need to understand, because we are, production gatekeepers, systems gatekeepers, we need to understand what's going on with our systems and make sure they are healthy. Next pillar is resolve and recovery. So cool, I debugged, I find the root cause. Now, what can I do, and which possible remediation step is the best one to take? So we should choose the fastest solution to eliminate downtime without compromising systems' health and stability. Why fast? Because we want to get back to sleep, right? Makes sense. But also business mindset. We want to make sure the service is up and running as fast as we can. And if we decided to do a quick and dirty fix in the middle of the night, this falls under the action items required and needed after resolving an issue. Because let's say we did a patch in the middle of the night, all people decided and agreed upon that, okay, it's the middle of the night, we will just do a patch right now, but we need to make sure resources are allocated the next day to make the issue resolved entirely, like permanently, and not stay with a fix, because fix is just a fix. It's like a Band-Aid. The systems will not be happy with that. And in general, preventing recurring issue is a priority, because we want to make sure that nothing from the same area will happen again, or other things. So if you detect things that not really working according to plan because of the fix that you did or because of anything else, make sure that you set it as a priority to fix it later on, because we want to make sure our systems are stable and healthy. And the last pillar is closure. So yeah, there are things to be done even when the incidents get closed. It's not like you close the issue and that's it, you'll go home or you go back to sleep. I mean, you can go back to sleep and do it in the morning, but you need to do these things. So first of all, who do I need to notify about this issue? So if we notified people at the beginning, we need to notify them again now, because they need to know that the issue got resolved. But not only that, they will be like our QAs, because maybe we think the issue got resolved, but actually the users still face some issues. So we need to tell them, hey, issue got resolved, but let us know if anything happens that feels otherwise. And that way they help you understand what's going on with the systems. You communicate properly that the issue got resolved and we care about our users, and then we can see that really things can be closed end-to-end. So basically, we need to be end-to-end communicators. If we notify the X, we need to notify them at the end as well. check the alerts. If the alerts are okay, great, but if they need tweaking, like change from critical to minor or the other way around, or maybe we have false positive alerts, we need to fix them because we want to make sure, first of all, we are not burned out and getting like alerts that we shouldn't get, and also that our systems are properly monitored. Is a relevant incident runbook in place? Is it outdated and needs updates? So runbooks are basically the procedures that you write when you need to fix something that is not straightforward, like you need to have an exercise, some judgment and stuff like that. So if I do X, then we need to check that. But if this happens or this is written in the log, then we need to check something else. So this is why we need runbooks. So make sure the incident that you had, if it requires a runbook, make sure it exists, and if it is updated, because I had cases where I had a runbook, I used it until the middle of the runbook, and then it wasn't useful anymore. So I updated it to make sure that it is useful going forward. Can I help prevent similar incidents from occurring, but not only similar, any incidents? Because maybe during the debugging, I found a log rotate that stopped working. I'm not gonna overlook it, right? I need to open a ticket to make sure it is being fixed and also revisited in other servers as well, because if it fails here, maybe it will fail in other servers as well. So if you detect anything during the debugging that you did about the incident, anything that comes to mind that could prevent the next incident from happening, this is the time to do it and to raise the flag about it. And does the incident requires a post-mortem? So post-mortem are the meetings where we basically, it's like lessons learned to understand how can we do better. So if the incident was critical enough and it needs a post-mortem meeting, great. Write down the notes as soon as possible because still things are still fresh in our mind, and then it will be a very effective meeting if we know all the details as it should be. But even if it doesn't need a post-mortem meeting, still share the knowledge, okay? Because people can learn about the system flows from this incident, about your line of thought. From your line of thought, they will learn a lot of things, so it could benefit a lot of people. So just share the knowledge with everyone. It will be super helpful. And some notes about war room conduct. So war room is when we have a very critical incident, and we need a lot of people to engage, usually more than 4 or 5 people. And then I have a story about it. So in my previous company, I was very new, like a month in, and it was during COVID. And then there was a critical incident, something really bad happened in AWS. And then there was a war room on the creation, and it was COVID, so the war room was in Zoom. So I decided to just join Zoom and be like a fly on the wall, because hey, I'm just a month there. Who am I, you know? What do I know? So I'm gonna be muted, fly on the wall, just listen and learn from this incident, and that's it. And then I joined, and then the people really, first of all, there were a lot of people, and then everyone, again, talked, and he pulled to this direction, and he pulled and he talked about this, and everyone talked about their baby, like their part of the flow. I'm like, okay, but I thought to myself, but it's nice that you think about the flow, but it's not what impacted here, so why are you even mentioning it, right? So a lot of people just talked, and nothing really progressed towards resolution. And why is that? Because there wasn't an incident manager in the incident. So at that point, after I think 10 or 12 minutes, I couldn't take it anymore. I unmuted myself, and then I said, hi, people. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Hila, because I'm new, right? And just, I gotta help here, okay? And basically, I took upon myself the role of being an incident manager. And so what does it mean? I divided the work. So during the talk and talk, I heard that someone said, once the incident gets resolved, the service needs to be started in a certain order in order to really start properly. And I told him, is there a runbook for that? No. Okay, please write a runbook. The only thing that you're gonna do right now is write a runbook. And why is that? Because we don't know when the incident is gonna be fixed, because it was partially because of AWS, partially because of our configuration. We don't know when it gets resolved, and maybe this guy will, I don't know, go to sleep or go take his cat for a walk, I don't know. So we want to make sure that service will get restored no matter what, right? So, and he was the only one that knew about the service restoration and how to do it properly. So I told him, write the runbook, so if you're not available, anyone could just start the service in the order that is needed based on that runbook. So this is one example of what I did there. I told him, you do that. Basically, I divide the work between all the people. The people that I didn't, that I saw that are not needed there, I told them, hi, thank you, go away. Because too many people is too noisy, okay? And yeah, people have opinions, and it's not always helpful. So if you're needed, great, you'll be here. If you're not needed, please go away. If you're needed for 1 minute and you did just one thing and then you finished, thank you, now go away. Okay, because we really make sure that the incident is kept to the minimum of people that really need to be there and progress the issue towards a resolution. So, yeah, so that's that. Now I'm going to cover here the qualities necessary for being an incident manager. Of course, there are more than 10, of course, but I wanted to focus on these ones because I feel these are the ones that helped me a lot through my career, and that I also have like notes, like tips to help you how to perfect those qualities. So first of all, think on your feet, impromptu action taker. Sometimes the issue that you will face is something that you're familiar with, but sometimes it's something in an uncharted territory. So that's why you need to think on your feet and be ready for anything. And in order to practice it, because I can say, think on your feet, right? And it doesn't help you, right? So in order to help you with that, the thing that you can do is practice, participate in brainstorming sessions. We always have brainstorming sessions at work, right? When we think about a new design that we want to introduce, and something like that. So these kind of sessions, they are ping pong, like he suggested this, he suggested that. These kind of sessions practice the muscle of thinking on your feet. And then I believe that, and I saw it happening, that if you participate in a lot of these kind of sessions, it will train this muscle of yours of thinking on your feet. And then whenever something happens during the night, you'll have it like on the go at least you'll have a few leads of what to check, even if it's something that is in an uncharted territory. I said it before, I'm going to say it again because it's super critical. Differentiate between relevant and non-relevant information, because again, really I saw a lot of people just delve to non-related things and not doing anything. So just focus on the relevant information, and basically how to do it, learn system flows, okay? The more you know how system works, the more your ability to separate the relevant from the non-relevant information increases. So this will help you with that. Operate under pressure. So I mentioned it at the beginning, and I'm going to share with you a story here. So in another company that I worked for, I also was new. I don't know why it happens to me always when I'm new, but okay. I was on my first on-call shift, and then very big incident, pager duty was blasted with like 200 alerts, something like that. I started checking for 2 minutes, just having like a grasp of everything. And then again, I'm new, so I called my buddy to sit next to me because it was before COVID. And I told him, okay, I talked to him, but I talked to the monitor. I spoke when I looked at the monitor. I'm like, okay, this happens. I checked this and this. Okay, now what? And then crickets. And I looked at the guy, and he's like shocked. He's shocked. He looked at my two screens. He's like, so many alerts. So many alerts. I'm like, dude, snap out of it. It doesn't help anyone, okay? So, yeah, so it was a thing. So that's the thing. Stress is a symptom of being out of control, right? So collection of relevant data will help you decrease stress levels. So that's the thing. If you know, if you have the relevant information, everything goes back to information at the end. If you have the information and if you know what to do, you are in control. So, just always focus on the information. Next up, work methodical for faster incident resolution, because time is of the essence, right? And there is a pressure to solve things fast. So methodical work will help you gain faster incident resolution. How to do it? I just showed you in previous slides, right? The structured process. Follow the structured process. It will help you work methodically, even though maybe, so not all people are methodical, but sticking to the structure will help you follow the methodical work, and then it will help you gain faster incident resolution. Yes, this one I particularly like. Be humble, okay? If you are stuck and you don't know what to do during an incident, first of all, that's okay, okay? Nobody knows everything. Not because, in general, nobody knows everything, and also because a lot of my all team members are doing stuff in the team, in production, so we can do and can know everything. So if you're stuck, if you're not sure what to do during the incident, ask for help. And why is that? Because it's not your time to shine. Okay, some people have this hero complex. I will save the day, I will fix the issue, and then management will see me, and then they will understand that I'm important for the company. No, you are important for the company if you escalate in the necessary time. Because I worked with people that I wanted to help them because I knew what to do, and then, or at least I had leads, okay? And then they're like, no, I'm checking. What are you checking? I don't know, because they didn't communicate it. I'm checking. Okay, but you're wasting time. And why? Because they want to prove that they know what to do. So that's the thing. You have a lot of opportunities to prove yourself on the day-to-day, right? And the best way to prove yourself on incidents is to take a step back and escalate the issue if you can't resolve it on your own, because that way you have the business mindset and business needs in heart and mind. So, and to practice it, make a habit out of it. So doing even your task at the day-to-day, let's say you have something, you need to achieve something like how to do something in Python or whatever, you Google it for 10 minutes, you couldn't find the solution, ask for help. Just to train, 10 minutes is not enough to check something, but just to train this habit of asking for help, because I have a team member that really is bad at asking for help, and I just suggested it to him, and he's like, it actually works. So just make a habit out of it. It will help you, again, train this muscle and ask for help whenever needed. Problem solver, whatever is needed kind of approach. So let's say you don't know what to do, which again, is totally fine. You ask some people for help, and then someone gives you leads. And then I met people, or I worked with people that were like, I don't think it's related. And I'm like, okay, do you have other leads? No. So what do you want? You ask for help, right? I give you leads. Now let's try. Don't be with a negative approach. So that's the thing. You need to have a can-do approach. Basically, if you don't have any more concrete leads and you ask for help, don't say no. Go with whatever comes to mind, because at least you are in motion, right? At least you are doing things actively in order to fix the issue, and not just, no, don't think it's related, and that, okay? So can-do approach is the way to go. Sense of ownership and initiative. So let's say you escalated an issue, great. It happened to me all the time that I had to escalate issues because it was in the DB and I'm in infrastructure. We need to make sure that the issue is being handled, because there were times where I escalated issues in 2 a.m. I called the person, so I'm like, sorry to wake you up, this happened. He's like, okay, I'm checking. 10 minutes, again, crickets, I don't know if it's being handled. Maybe he went back to sleep, I have no idea. So, but that's the thing. Even if we escalated things, we are still the on-call and we are still the owner of the incident. So we need to make sure it is always being handled. So yeah, it sucks to nag someone at 2 and 2:15 a.m. Of, hey, are you on it? But we need to do it because at this point it's more important than his time of sleep, because we need to make sure it is managed. So you're on call, and if you escalate the issue, you're still responsible. So be an end-to-end handler of the issue and make sure it is always being handled. By how to do it? By checking statuses, right? So proactive statuses check. Ask the people that you escalated, hey, what's the status? Are you on it? Do you need help? Because maybe they are the ones that can't ask for help, so you can make them, see the light that they need to ask for help, etc. Good communicator. So I said it at the beginning, and I'm going to say it here as well. We have to be good communicators. It's a must. Why? Because we need to explain the issue to others helping out. We need to explain the issue for the customer engineers teams that need to communicate it to the customers, right? So we always need to communicate the things during the incident, and right, not everyone is good in communication. It's good. I have people. I have a team member that all he does in the Slack is like fixed, check now. Okay, elaborate a bit, just a bit, elaborate. Okay, so that's okay. Not everyone is good in communication. So what can you do about it? Communication guidelines can be established, same as runbooks. The department or the team, you can establish like a runbook for communication. So define in which channels to post things, and after X time, what are the durations to post after X minutes, and what type of information to post in these channels. And then once you have these guidelines set up, even though you're not good in communications, still you can just follow the procedure, and then you'll be able to communicate it, and that's it. Lead with authority. This is more relevant for the war room scenario, or at least when there are more than 2 people involved. So if you're nice and confident and you make people feel at ease, and you project and everything is okay and under control facade, then people will listen to you and follow your lead. And how you can practice it? You can manage meetings in work, sync meetings, demos, etc. This will help you train this lead without authority thing, and then you can detect where are the issues. If people don't listen to you, where does it fall? And then once it gets to the actual and crucial point of doing that during an incident, then you'll be more equipped and more practiced to do it during the actual real-time scenario. And last but not least, I think the most important characteristic out there that is needed in order to do anything in incident management, in tech, in life, is care. Okay? If you don't care about what you do, you can do anything about anything that I showed you in this presentation. Okay? Because you don't care, you just don't care. So you have to care, and how to practice it, get more involved and ask questions in order to find your motivation. And even after doing that, you still couldn't find the careness in you, then maybe, I don't know, go to switch jobs or something. Because this is like the base of everything. You have to care in order to do anything. And because, you know, the entire presentation is about being proactive. You can't be proactive without care, okay? So let's go back to the agenda for a bit. We covered the necessary mindset to manage incidents. We covered the incident flow, the structural process to manage incidents. We covered the on-call traits. Now let's cover being proactive, things that you can do in your day-to-day and after an incident took place in order to come prepared for incidents. And why do we need to come prepared for incidents? Because Fuji's said it better. Ready or not, here you come, you can hide. Pager duty and ops. I really thought that you will laugh in this. Okay, never mind. Come on, I'm kidding, okay. So pager duty and ops duty and Victor ops will come regardless if you're ready or not, so better come prepared. So what can we do better? The proactive approach after an incident took place. So first of all, on-call shifts handoffs. On-call shifts handoffs are basically summaries that you write, usually in Slack, in order to let your team members know about what happened in the on-call shift. Like, I had to suppress false positive alert. I had a recurrent issue. Alert X is waiting for dev to check it out. These kind of things, because that way, first of all, it's good for audit purposes, but also it's good for team member success, because, I don't know, maybe you're in an on-call shift rotation where it is daily. Or like in my case, I practiced like the on-call during the day, and then on the night, lucky for me, I moved it to the people in the US, because, you know, the time zones are different between US and Israel. So I was on call during the day, they were on call during my night, but it was their day. So I need to do the on-call handoff shift for them, so they know that they're not out in the dark, they know what happened, and they can have an efficient on-call shift of their own as well. So this is very, very important, and it's really short. It should be like just a paragraph, just the gist of what happened, and it will be very helpful for anyone that needs to do the on-call shift after you. Post-mortem notes, as I said, write the notes as soon as possible because that way it's still fresh in your mind and then the meeting will be very effective. New tasks. So if you identify anything that could help prevent the next incident or stabilize the environment, that way you can make sure that the environment is more stable and then you can prevent the next incident, which is good because then you will have less incidents to worry about in the middle of the night or in general. Modify alerts. So if you ran into alerts that needs to be fixed, false positives or something like that, fix them, okay? Don't wait for the next on-call to do it because they will wait for the next on-call to do it and they will wait for the next on-call to do it and then it will never happen. So please do it and fix it yourself. Incident runbooks, as I mentioned, if there are runbooks in place, make sure that they are updated. If not, write them yourself to make sure people are always have a go-to to fix issues. Automation, so maybe you detected candidates for self-remediation. If so, we can definitely set this up and then some things can be fixed on their own and not, wouldn't require our involvement. They can be fixed automatically. If the issue is got handled, awesome, share the knowledge, okay, more in depth than in the on-call handoff, because again, people can learn from your line of thought, they can learn the system flows because of this incident, so it's a win-win for everyone. So that was the after the fact, after an incident took place. Now what can you do in our general day-to-day? So the on-call shifts handoffs that I mentioned just a minute ago, here I'm saying or asking you to read them on an ongoing basis. And why is that? Because production happens all the time, not only when you're on call. So this is your way to understand what's going on in production through these handoffs, because maybe you have a big team and you're on call, luckily for you, only once in 2 months, okay? So if you have these handoffs, you can read what's going on in production, then you're up to date, you're in the loop, and then once you will get to your on-call shift, then you wouldn't be out like in the dark. You'll know exactly what's going on, and you'll have a go-to approach to fix whatever is needed. Escalation point of contacts. So you know the necessary information needed in your realm. Like in my realm is infrastructure, so I know what's going on in my realm. But the thing is that we need to know the full picture, okay, and know the other pieces of information as well. So let's say there's an incident, I checked my side of things in infrastructure side, but then since now I need to escalate it to dev. If I don't know who's responsible on the dev side, then I need to wake my team leader up and say, hey, who's responsible for service X? And then he's like, 2 a.m., how don't you know about that, right? So if I know upfront that John is the one that's handling X from dev side, then I'm saving time in escalation. I'm saving time from calling my team leader or other team members and asking who's responsible for X, and then I can do and escalate more quickly. So that's a really good thing to have, because it will save you time and money on incident management and save someone else's hours of sleep, because then I don't need to wake them up and ask that. Understand system architecture. So basically understand the inner moving parts of a system to learn about weaker areas or vulnerabilities or sensitive and blast radius scopes, because that way we know what's prone to fail and have a go-to to fix it. If we know upfront that some things are more prone to failures than others in the system, then we know what to do about it. Learn application flows. So the system architecture is like the inside of one system, but learn application flows is between systems. So if we know the application flows, like the chain of events and chain of how the systems are communicating between each other, then it will help me with debugging, because then I know exactly, okay, I check this, now I need to progress to this phase because this service talks to this and this service talks to that, and I can check everything in this chain, and then I know I have a very structured way of debugging, because I know exactly what is the order of the events that's going on. And also it's good for business impact, because if I know the chain of events and how it works, I can know who to escalate to, and then do things, again, more quickly, because I know exactly where the things got broken. Team members' tasks. So again, it's very easy for me to focus on my tasks alone. But again, production changes through other team members' tasks as well. So get involved and be aware of latest changes that could rock the boat, and learn how their tasks affect production. And deployments and changes in prod. So team members' tasks is like general things that could or could not affect production, and deployment and changes in prod are direct changes in production that would definitely affect production. So these are things that you really, really need to know about. Ask about the changes and the possible impacts on production, because again, Ops Genie or PagerDuty doesn't care if you didn't do the change yourself. It will call you anyway if you're on call. So better understand what's going on and how the change affects production, so you would be able to handle it when the time comes. And last but not least, a bonus, you can say, be a go-to person. That way you will get push notifications to you, and people will come to you to consult and tell you about the cool things that they are doing at work. And then it will avoid the need for you to go and fetch the updates yourself, because people will come to you and tell you about things. So, talked a lot of things here. So to cover and really summarize things up, in order to not only talk the talk, but also walk the walk when it comes to incident management, have your qualities in check, make the process structured, and be proactive. And that way you'll come prepared to answer any incidents that will cross your way and prevent the next incident from happening. And why is that? Because less incidents means less downtime, and less downtime means business success, and business success is eventually your success. That's it. Thank you very much. And I only coughed twice, or I don't know, a few. Really, you should have seen me at the morning. It was hideous. So, kudos for me. We have time for questions?
We have about 3 or 4 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Someone have questions? Yes.
How do you manage playbooks? And overall, you got plays, for instance, for incident resolutions, etc. Jira templates in Confluence or just Confluence?
So it really depends on how you manage documentation in general. Actually, I have a talk about documentation later on today, so I will cover it there. So there is Confluence and stuff like that, and there's Docs as code. So in both, you can link the runbook to the alerts. So for us, for example, we had alerts in PagerDuty, and then we knew exactly that the runbook that we have written is related to this incident. So we had, like, in the PagerDuty allows you to have labels. So there's a label of runbook, you put it with a link, and then whenever we got the incident, the alert, we had already the link to the runbook there, and then we knew exactly what to do. So this is like how we link it and how to manage it. If it's a Confluence, then yeah, you need to update it manually, because it is manual. But if it's Docs as code, if the documentation will be in the same code as the alerts, then you can set up PRs, and I'm going to cover it in the other talk. PRs to make sure the documentation is up to date. Otherwise, the PR to change alerts, for example, will fail. So that's why I always encourage people to go with Docs as code, because it really helps you keep the docs up to date. Yes?
One of the traits you talked about was number 10, care. Right?
Yeah.
From your experience, is it possible to teach people to care, or to get people to care if they don't?
That's a very good question. I just thought about it right now, and I had something that popped to mind. You can do an exercise, okay? Because usually when you do implementations at work, like I deployed GitLab, now I'm gonna do a presentation for my team to go over the system, to help them onboard them to the system. A practice that you can do, like a drill here, is that you can have these demos or these things done by another team member. So even though I did the deployment, the team leader can ask, the other person from the team will do the demo, and that way they have to care, because they need to learn the system for me and then be proficient enough to show it to the rest of the team. So I hope that during this learning, the careness will come, because it started out as a task, But then, since they learn, because wait, why did you, then the technology aspects of things will kick in the person, like, hey, but why did you deploy it like this, and why do you configure it like that? So it started out as a task, but then once they know the details, they will ask the questions, and then the technology aspects of us will rise, and then we will care more. This is what I think that will happen. So this is one thing that you can try. Other than that, I'll need to think about it some more because it's a very good one. And I'll think about it offline, and maybe I will add it once I have more conclusions. I will add it to this slide. Good one. Other questions? Yes. Mm-hmm. So actually, a lot of the things that I showed here is not from me knowing the system flows, because I built it. A lot of the system flows that I learn about are the things that I haven't built myself. Things that I just need to manage, but I haven't built them myself. So that's the thing. Once you build it yourself, it's very easy to know everything because you built it. But that's the whole idea, that you need to learn the system flows even when you're not the one to build it. So I always advocate for developers to be on call as well, because they couldn't be like detached from it. If you build it, you need to manage it as well. Of course, you don't need to be like not always, it really depends. You don't need to be the first line of defense. It really depends, because if the alert is always, like the logs are always something that I can't do anything about, because it's always something in code that you need to check, then yeah, you should be the first line of defense. But if things or some logs are needed to be triaged first, then I can be only the first on call, and then only when the relevant scenario happens, then I will escalate it to the developer. So it really depends whether it's something that whenever it happens, it's always the developer's, not fault, right, but always the developers to check or not. So that's why I do think that they should be the first line of defense, but again, depends on the scenarios. And about the system flows, just that's the thing, learn it even though you weren't the one to build it, because that way you know and you're able to manage it properly. Any other questions? Going once? Abba, yes.
Teamwork aspect and the cooperation that you talk about during the incident
Mm-hmm.
seems like it's going to be easier if you're taking steps between incidents outside of that with your team. And so I would imagine that the better that a team is actually reinforcing each other and trusting each other in general, the better the incident management is going to be, because those skills will kind of naturally be there, like the trust and the follow-up and the humility, because I trust this person to help out. Just kind of a general observation.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be like the team building aspect will help out in this, even if it's not an incident. That made sense in my head. I'm not quite sure it came out very well.
No, it is. I understand exactly what you mean. Of course, if the team's culture is good enough, then I know that I have, people will have my back during the incident as well. But that's the thing. It's not only what I show here is not only about the working with my team, but also me with other interfaces in general, like other development teams. I had incidents where I had to escalate to teams that I never talked about with. So, and then I couldn't foster this communication with them because I didn't have any interaction with them in the day-to-day. But there was a flow that they recently introduced, and then I had to communicate. So that's the thing. It's, of course, even if things will foster properly in the team, it will be helpful for most of the incidents. But the things that I showed here is for how to be proficient and efficient in managing incidents, even between you and any other interfaces that will happen during the day-to-day. But what you say is makes totally sense, because if the base is good and solid, then we can help each other for sure. Anything else? Now I can do it again. Going once, going twice, going